And we do have a lot to talk about this. So for more, let's bring in Kevin Rudd, who joins us by phone. He is the former Prime Minister of Australia and President of the Asia Society Policy Institute. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight.
Good to be with you.
Thank you. All right, so let's start with this. Do you think that the response from the Trump administration is going to be effective enough to calm the situation down? And how do you think our allies are going to be playing a part in helping to handle this with diplomacy, if we can do that?
Remember, the key objective here is to bring about a change in North Korean behavior. Everything else is kind of a sound and light show. The bottom line is, what can you do to bring about a change in behavior? And the outcome of the Mar-a-Lago meeting between President Trump and President Xi Jinping of China was for the two sides to work on a common diplomatic strategy to bring about that change in Pyongyang. So far, of course, without result, as you've just discussed with this most recent missile test by the North Koreans. But from China's perspective, and I'm speaking to you from Beijing at present, this missile test by the North Koreans is the least welcome development. First of all, it sends a direct signal to the newly elected president of South Korea less than a week ago that the North Koreans are in a belligerent mood. And secondly, from China's perspective, here in Beijing, it was a major global conference hosted by Beijing here yesterday on a big infrastructure conference. He's running for right across the Eurasian region. And who upsets the party but the guy next door, Kim Jong-un, who doesn't do a lot in terms of improving China's sense of humor about what the North Korean leader is up to.
All right. President Trump has been calling for even stronger sanctions against North Korea. And, even though the U.S. is applying this kind of pressure, we have North Korea now writing a rare letter directly to the United States Congress complaining about these proposed sanctions. So what does that tell us? What's your take?
Well, the bottom line is North Korean diplomatic behavior has a history of being all over the place. Sometimes it appears to be conciliatory, sometimes it appears to be harsh. I don't think it's something that anyone in the United States should take terribly seriously. The bottom line is people watch what North Korea's behavior is. And this missile test is an action by the North Koreans, which is by definition belligerent. But let's not get distracted from the core action here, which is what is the United States now doing with the Chinese to bring about substantive change in North Korean behavior. The key to this lies, if there is to be further sanctions discussed by the United Nations Security Council, and whether that would now include the supply of oil from China to North Korea. This is the core point of strategic leverage. North Korea depends on Chinese oil to keep their economy and their military running. This is the point at which Chinese leverage on North Korea would begin to have an effect, and that's where the action really now lies.
I wanted to ask you about a report that is out today that Congress is weighing options for bolstering U.S. defenses against North Korea by increasing the number of anti-missile systems on the West Coast. This latest missile, as we know, came 60 miles south of Russia. So, a main question for a lot of people today is how worried should we be about it reaching us?
Well, if you look at what the North Koreans have been testing in missile range over the last couple of years, they fall into three categories, not surprisingly. Short range, which can work for them across the parallel with South Korea. Medium range, which would affect Japan, but also affect conceivably American deployments in Guam. And then you have long-range missiles, or so-called intercontinental missiles, which could reach, of course, Alaska and ultimately the U.S. West Coast. The North Koreans have been testing the first two sets of categories of that, and that of itself is deeply destabilizing. But the core question is this. I understand the debate in the United States about various forms of anti-missile defense. That is a normal reaction to what the North Koreans are doing, and a rational reaction. But if the North Koreans acquire a large number of missiles, and they already have a large number of bombs, if they're able to miniaturize those nuclear weapons and put them on the head of those missiles and have a large stock of them, the danger for all of us, both the United States and U.S. allies in the region, is that they have a large number. They can overwhelm missile defense systems. And so there's basically a race against capability, but also the number of North Korean missiles as well.
All right, Kevin Rudd, right in the middle of everything over there in China, on the phone for us. Thank you so much for joining us and with your perspective. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.